That kind of leads to another really interesting part of the conversation we had yesterday was just the aesthetics. You guys talk about making compromises and the aesthetics of, you know, having to not only have limited choices, but the choices you do have, you know, aren't, you know, visually pleasing a lot of times.
I don't feel like we're being girly about that either. Like I have a lot of guy friends who will come over and they'll be like, we're going to make you this ramp and it's going to look good. And like, you know, they think about those things too. It's not just about being pretty. It's about like,
right.
really, it's unfair that we're having to, you know, like you have to trade things off. And it's not just true for our community. It's true for all minority communities, really.
Yeah. And I think from a disability standpoint, like aesthetics falls into that like medical model. It's okay for it to look like a hospital, you know, and like, I don't want to live in that type. I don't want my bathroom to look like I'm in a hospital or, you know, and so how do we start to make accessibility design beautiful, like as a standard, you know, would be nice as well.
Sad truth is that they don't do disability research regularly. Like since the 70s or 80s, there's only been a good chunk of studies. This is what I did my thesis on as I was getting my master's in journalism. And it wasn't a thesis, it was a professional project, excuse me. But it's like a mini thesis, and it was on media, disability representation in media. And at the time, there was, I mean, maybe 20 studies to pull from the entirety of all time of research, right? And it was the same few researchers. And it's because there is no representation. Like we're just now seeing commercials that they'll have that one kid with the wheelchair or, you know, the one parent. Oh, there's a great Expedia commercial right now. Have you seen this, Leisha?
Love it.
Does it make you cry? It makes me tear up every time.
It just makes me feel so seen.
Oh my God, yes.
In such a like, not to use the word like a traditional way. It makes me so happy. It's
so
really
it's woman and she's like, oh, my dog's been through the muck lately. I'm gonna book a trip. And she's a wheelchair user. And she books the trip and she takes the trip with her dog all by herself. No help, no aides, no one carrying her bags. It was perfect. It's perfect.
And you mentioned on top of that, there's not a mention of the disabled person. It's showing this hotel accommodates dogs. Other like people that might not have a disability can bring their, you know, like it's a very natural integration of many intersections of a human that you don't go like, oh, that's for the girl in the wheelchair. It's like, right. So it's really beautifully done.
Really well done.
Yeah.
And there's like this one actress that I'm seeing in a couple, like she's done a Lifetime movie and she's done Murders Only in the Building. Yeah. So you see her in a few places and you're seeing more of it, but maybe probably pre-Glee, I didn't see that at all. How about you, Alicia, growing up in a chair?
I had no one to follow. I've had to literally find my voice and use my own voice and figure it out. So that's why when we're seeing things today, especially in the last couple of years, like the Skims campaign that went out and every woman with a disability was rallying, like that was one of the loudest roars of advocacy of our community it's given me chills I've ever seen ever, that we all came together as women with disabilities rallying against inclusion in clothing. You know what I mean? Like, so adaptive wear. So we're absolutely starting to see it, but this is new. Like
did anything change with Skims after the cry?
So Skims has adaptive wear. The whole thing was somebody called out inclusion is going too far if Skims is creating adaptive wear, and because they're focusing on disability on top of all the other DEI initiatives. And when it got to disability, somebody cried out that has a lot of followers in the media, we've gone too far. There's adaptive wear. And so women with disabilities are like, we've gone too far. Like we're finally having an opportunity to have products that work for us instead of us trying to fit in the box that society is saying you need to be able-bodied for anything to work for you as a consumer. Like, so that was the roar. It was like women with disabilities, like, you know, coming together. Like we want to be seen too as a consumer and as a human being and part of society. So Skims actually did a good job creating adaptive wear. it had backlash of like, oh, disability included in diversity, we've gone too far, like, you know. And
so it's safe to say Skims is just continuing on with what they're doing.
Yes,
and
it is safe to say that. Yes, it is. Yeah.
No, that's great. I also see, you know, I have a daughter with, she also was a premature baby, and so she's had to adapt, you know, medical equipment, and like she has braces that she walks with, so she has, you know, different adaptive shoes would be nice. She doesn't have those, but my niece does, and they're coming along. And like I wear dresses because dresses are just simply easier for me to manage. I don't know. It'd be nice to see more of that, but I think that there is this like kind of zeitgeist of, like, for instance, the Paralympic issue. Do you want to kind of explain that, Rachael, and maybe we could talk through it?
So, you know, the Paralympic TikTok account got a lot of really interesting attention, which kind of prompted the piece that I put together early this spring, which prompted the discussion around ableism, because some people were very supportive of the marketing and the awareness that they were trying to do. Other people felt that it fell flat or that it was actually offensive. And you know, I think the most effective thing that they did with what they were doing with the content was, again, getting this conversation started and getting people to even, you know, talk about these issues. And I think that's something that, you know, we have to be really conscious of, especially with our audience. You know, there's a huge demand with our audience about, you know, being innovative, being disruptive. What's next? How can we provide better customer service? And to me, I think it's being willing and being brave enough to have these conversations, being willing to say, like, you know, there's not a lot of diversity in my office, and that's something that I want to work on. And how can I not have this kind of echo chamber, and what can I do to bring to the table to kind of take it to the next level? And I think brokerages and team leaders who not only think about how to bring more diverse, more talent into their brokerages, and take extra steps to reach the widest audience possible, instead of, you know, kind of focusing on these boutique experiences that only reach a niche, very specific type of income level type of person. I think they're really going to be rewarded with, you know, just much more positive experiences. But I think consumers are looking for that. I think consumers want authenticity. They want to see and work with people that are not just about, you know, them on Bravo selling real estate houses and kind of in the big fancy car. I think they really want to work with people that, you know, are authentic and want to help all people.
Well, and they want to see, like, to Dani's point, they want to see themselves represented in your product. And if you're looking at, you know, 61 million Americans that are disabled, I mean, frankly, if you're a business owner, you're not looking at that, you are leaving billions of dollars on the table.
A fourth of your business, right?
Yeah.
Like a quarter.
So this is a conversation that needs to education. We need to look in our rearview mirror, understand disability rights history, ADA, how it benefits. We need to look today where we're at, and we need to look in the future about how inclusion of people with disabilities and accessibility innovates not only our world, but the workplace and all of it, and how it benefits all of us. And really, we need to flip the script. You know, it's time to flip 2023. Like, let's flip the script and start looking at it in a real way.